Welcome to today's math lesson on finding the area of composite figures. Our do now reads a container shaped like a triangular prism. Each base of the container is an equilateral triangle with the dimensions shown. So this picture represents the base of our triangular prism, and the container has a height of 15 centimeters. What is the lateral surface area of the container in square centimeters? And then we have to put our answer into this bubble sheet. So the first thing that I'm going to do is write out my lateral surface area formula, which is P times H. The P represents the perimeter of the base. And so to find the perimeter of the base, I just have to add up all the side lengths. Since it's an equilateral triangle, that means that all of the sides of the triangle are the same length. I can either do 6 plus 6 plus 6, or I can do 6 times 3. Then the height is 15, so I'm going to multiply the 6 times 3 by the 15. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 15 is 270. And my unit of measurement in this problem is centimeters, so my answer is going to be 270 centimeters squared. Then to put my answer into the bubble sheet, since it's a whole number, I'm going to put zeros behind the decimal point, and then 270 in front of it. And then I'm going to bubble in 2, 7, and then 3 zeros. Today's TEK is 7.9C. We're continuing with yesterday's lesson. Our lesson target is that I will be able to determine the area of composite figures containing rectangles, squares, parallelograms, trapezoids, and circles. So the only thing that we're adding is circles or parts of circles today. Our DOL is given 4 problems. I will be able to determine the area of composite figures containing rectangles, squares, parallelograms, trapezoids, and circles 4 out of 4 times or with 100% accuracy. So as a review, our star reference materials gives us the area of triangles, rectangles, and parallelograms, trapezoids, as well as circles. So for a triangle, to find the area, we're doing half times the base times the height. For a rectangle and a parallelogram, we're doing area is equal to base times height, because remember that a parallelogram is kind of like a rectangle that's been slanted. A trapezoid's formula is area is equal to half times base 1 plus base 2 times height. And from yesterday, we were reminded that trapezoids usually look like this, but sometimes they can also look more similar to this. And then our area formula for a circle is area is equal to pi times radius square. And remember that we're going to use 3.14 when we're calculating the area for a circle to represent pi. Composite means made up of or composed of. And so our shapes today will be made up of smaller, simple geometric shapes. This I do problem reads, a model of a rectangular stovetop with 4 circular burners is shown. The side lengths of the stovetop and the diameters of the burners are labeled. Which measurement is the best estimate of the area in square inches of the stovetop that does not include the area of the burners? So basically, we're trying to find the area of the shaded gray part of this diagram. And so our success criteria for today is going to be the same as yesterday. 1, I can identify the simple shapes and appropriate formulas. So as you can see, we have a rectangle, which looks close to a square, as well as circles. And then so we're going to have to write out the formulas for a rectangle as well as a circle. So area of rectangle formula is base times height. Area of a circle formula is pi radius square. Then step 2 is I can identify and substitute the values of the parts of the formulas. So for our area of a rectangle, I'm going to simplify that to just AR. Our base is this 24, and our height is the 22, so I'm doing 24 times 22. For a circle, we're using 3.14 for pi So we have 3.14 times the radius square. So in this diagram, we're given the length of the diameter, which is from one end of the circle to the other end of the circle, which is 6 inches, but we need to figure out what the radius is. And the radius is half of the diameter since it's only the length from the middle of the circle to the end of the circle. So half of 6 is 3. So our radius is 3 inches. So we're going to multiply 3.14 times 3 squared. According to order of operations, I have to do the exponents first. So 3 squared is the same thing as 3 times 3, which is 9. So we have 3.14 times 9. And that is 28.26. And our unit of measurement in this problem is inches squared. And then when we do 22 times 24, we get 528. Our unit again is inches squared. And to find the area of the 4 circles, we actually have to multiply the 28.26 with 4. So we have 4 times 28.26 and that is 113.04 inches squared. So this area of a circle, this 28.26 inches squared is the area of one of the circles. Because there's 4 circles, we multiplied it by 4, and now we have the area of all 4 circles, but the thing is, we have to find the area of the shaded region, so the part that doesn't include the circles. Since we have the area of the rectangle, which is 528, we're actually going to subtract instead of add as we were doing yesterday. So we have 528 minus 113.04, and that is equal to 414.96 inches squared. And so we evaluated the formulas and subtracted. So whenever you are finding the area of a composite figure that has a shaded area or a shaded part, and that's what you're looking for, you're going to have to subtract. If you're finding the area of composite figures that are made up of different shapes and there's no question about shaded area, then you're going to add the areas of the smaller geometric shapes together. So 414.96 is closest to 520, so our answer is going to be C. The next I do question is Juan wants to carpet the floor of a bedroom. A floor plan is shown. The success criteria is the same. So our first step is to identify the simple shapes and the appropriate formulas for the shapes. And so the first question here is how much carpet does he need? So we're finding the area of the composite figure. So I can identify that we have a rectangle here, we have a square, and we have a semicircle. So that's part of a circle. It's 1/4 of a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and write out the formulas. So area of a rectangle is equal to base times height. Then area of a square is side times side, or side squared. Lastly, area of a circle is pi radius square. So starting off with a rectangle, we have the base is 30, the height is 20, 30 times 20, 600. Then for the square, we have to multiply one side length by the other side length. So we're doing 10 squared, or 10 times 10, and that is 100. Lastly, we have to first find the area of a full circle, and then we can find the area of just this quarter of a circle. So we're going to use the value 3.14 for pi, so we have 3.14 times. So right here, we have to identify what our radius is. So we can either take this part as our radius or this part right here. Our radius is already labeled as 10 feet, but if we wanted to use this side length, we could, because if this side of the square is 10 feet, that would make this side also 10 feet, and that happens to be the radius of the circle. So we have 3.14 times 10 squared. According to the order of operations, we have to do 10 squared first, so then we have 3.14 times 100. And then 3.14 times 100 is 314. So 314 feet squared is the area of the full circle. But since this is 1/4 of a full circle, or a quarter of a circle, we actually have to divide the 314 divided by 4 to find just this quarter of a circle's area. And 314 divided by 4 is 78.5. Now to find the area of the figure, I have to add together the areas of the rectangle, square, and quarter circle. So I'm adding together 600 plus 100 plus 78.5. That gives me 778.5. Since our unit of measurement is feet, and we're finding the area, it's feet squared. Then the second part of this question is saying the carpet costs $3 per square foot. How much will it cost to carpet the bedroom? So we know that we need 778.5 feet squared worth of carpet. And if we know the unit rate for the carpet, we just are going to multiply the amount we need by the cost. And that gives us 2,335.50. So that's $2,335.50. We have some we do problems as well as 2 you do problems. And then you have to do your 4-question Google form DOL. Thank you so much for following along in today's math lesson, and see you in the next math video. Bye.